Muskogee, Oklahoma. The year is 2009. It's 3:47 in the morning. Cindy Hammons jolts awake to a scream cutting through the house. It's her son. She runs down the hallway, her heart pounding so hard it feels like it might burst. This is the fifth night in a row. When she reaches Ryan's room, she freezes. Her 4-year-old son is sitting upright in bed, clutching his chest with both hands. His eyes are wide open, but they don't seem to focus on anything. He's gasping for air. "My heart exploded! My heart exploded!" he screams. Then, almost whispering, he adds, "I was in Hollywood. My heart exploded." Cindy pulls him into her arms, trying to calm him down, but Ryan's gaze stays distant, empty, like his mind is somewhere else entirely. After a moment, his voice softens. "Mom," he asks quietly, "was I someone else before?" That night marks the moment Cindy Hammons' life changes forever, because without realizing it, her son had just stepped into the center of what would become one of the most thoroughly documented reincarnation cases in modern science. Cindy Hammons is an ordinary American mom, a Protestant Christian. She works as a deputy county clerk in Muskogee. Her husband, Kevin, is a police officer. Their life is simple, structured, and grounded in faith. They don't believe in reincarnation. Honestly, it's not something they've ever given much thought to. But Ryan's nightmares don't stop. Night after night, the same fear returns, and every morning he remembers more. "I want to go home," Ryan says, "to my house in Hollywood." Cindy patiently explains, "Sweetheart, this is our home. We live in Oklahoma." "No," Ryan insists, "my real home. It's a white house with a big swimming pool. The street name has the word rock in it." At first, Cindy and Kevin brush it off as imagination, maybe something he saw on TV, maybe something he heard at preschool. But Ryan's stories aren't random. The details are sharp. The descriptions never change. One morning at breakfast, Ryan suddenly says, "I danced on Broadway, on big stages. People clapped for me." Cindy slowly puts her spoon down. "Ryan, do you even know what Broadway is?" He looks at her like the question makes no sense. "New York, the theaters. I danced there. Didn't you know?" One day, Ryan casually drops another shocking sentence. "I met Rita Hayworth. She was beautiful. She had red hair." Rita Hayworth, a Hollywood legend of the 1940s, an icon of classic cinema. She died in 1987, 17 years before Ryan was even born. That's when real fear settles in for Cindy. Is her son losing his mind? Is this some kind of psychological condition? But what scares her the most isn't what Ryan says, it's how he says it. He isn't dreaming. He isn't imagining things. He isn't pretending. He remembers, the same way you remember what you had for dinner last night. "I was married 5 times, Ryan says one day. "I had a daughter with my first wife. After that, things got complicated." Cindy holds her breath. He's 4 years old. How can a child speak so calmly about marriage and complicated relationships? Ryan keeps going. "I worked at an agency. We changed people's names. We made them famous." Then one day he says something even stranger. "I used to be big. Now I'm small. I miss being big. I could go anywhere I wanted." That night, Cindy lies in bed crying and praying. "God," she whispers, "what is happening to my son?" At first, she doesn't even tell her husband. She knows exactly what people will think, that her son is crazy, that she's a bad mother. And yet, deep down, something won't let her ignore it. Ryan isn't lying. He isn't joking. He's remembering something real. One Saturday morning, she goes to the local library and checks out everything she can find about old Hollywood. They bring the books home. Together they flip through the pages, black and white photos, the 1930s, 40s, 50s, old movies, forgotten stars. Ryan looks carefully, but he doesn't say a word. A few days later, they open another book, Mae West and the Classic Hollywood Era. Inside is a still from the 1932 film Night After Night. The moment Cindy turns the page, Ryan jumps forward. "Stop!" He points at the picture. 6 men on a set, 2 standing face to face in the center, 4 others around them. Ryan points to one of the men on the right, a man in a coat with a hard, serious expression. "That's me," he shouts. "Mom, that's me. I found myself." Cindy feels chills rush through her entire body. Ryan leans in again and points to someone else. "And that guy," he says, tapping one of the 2 men in the middle, "that's George. We made a movie together." Cindy reads the caption under the photo. "Night After Night, 1932, starring George Raft." George? How would Ryan even know George Raft? But here's the real problem. The man Ryan claims is me isn't listed in the credits. No name, no lines, just an extra, basically invisible on paper. That night, Cindy sits at her computer for hours, digging through websites, archives, cast lists, anything. Nothing. No record. Not on IMDb, not anywhere she can find. And in that moment, she realizes she's at a breaking point. Either she gets professional help or she's going to lose it. Charlottesville, Virginia, University of Virginia School of Medicine. Hidden inside it is one of the strangest research groups on the planet, the Division of Perceptual Studies. The director is Dr. Jim Tucker. He's a child psychiatrist, and for the last 20 years, he's been focused on one unusual pattern: kids who claim they remember a previous life. Tucker carried on the work of the legendary Dr. Ian Stevenson. Stevenson spent 4 decades collecting more than 2,500 cases from around the world, documenting them with careful notes and strict verification. Now, Tucker continues that same line of research. In 2010, while searching online late at night, Cindy finds Tucker's name. She learns that he studies children's past life memories at the University of Virginia. She stares at the screen for a long time, then finally writes an email. She explains what's been happening, shares Ryan's story, attaches the photo. A reply comes in less than 48 hours. "Mrs. Hammons, please keep writing down everything your son says. I will come see you soon. This case appears extraordinary." May 2010. Dr. Jim Tucker flies to Oklahoma. He meets Cindy and Kevin Hammons in their home. Ryan is 5 now, shy at first, but clearly curious. Tucker has done this for years. Hundreds of families, hundreds of children, and his method is always the same. Write down the child's statements in detail. Record them before any identity is suggested. Verify carefully, calm, objective, and scientific, and always test other possible explanations. Tucker speaks gently with Ryan. No interrogation, no pressure, no leading questions. He just listens. And Ryan talks for hours. "I had an agency in Hollywood. We changed people's stage names. I danced on Broadway, tap dance on big stages. I went to Paris with my wife. We traveled on large ships. I had 3 sons. I adopted them and gave them my last name. I had a daughter from my first marriage. I miss her a lot. I had 2 sisters. One of them died when she was young. I had a favorite restaurant in Chinatown. I used to sunbathe a lot. I was always sunburned. I owned a huge collection of sunglasses. Every sentence, every detail, Tucker writes it all down, records it, dates it, because this isn't just interesting, it's verifiable. And now it's time to verify. Tucker takes a copy of the photo from Night After Night, the scene Ryan pointed to. Who is that man? He works with a Hollywood film archivist. They begin digging through old studio records. Weeks of research follow. Studio payrolls, casting sheets, forgotten Hollywood magazines. And finally, a name appears. Marty Martyn. Birth name, Morris Kalinsky. Born May 19, 1903 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Son of Ukrainian Jewish immigrants. In the 1920s, he moves to New York and dances tap on Broadway. Later, he relocates to Los Angeles and changes his name to Marty Martyn. He tries to become an actor, appears as an extra in Night After Night in 1932. When acting doesn't work out, he pivots. He becomes a talent agent. He starts the Marty Martyn Agency. Success follows. Money follows. He marries 4 times. He dies in 1964 in Beverly Hills, California. But Tucker keeps going. He searches for Marty Martyn's daughter. It isn't easy. She wasn't very close to her father, but eventually he finds her. Her name is withheld for privacy reasons. Still, Tucker meets with her, and she is stunned because Tucker shows her a list of things Ryan has said. She remembers her father and confirms them one by one. Yes, my father danced on Broadway. Yes, he ran a talent agency. Yes, he changed his clients' names. Yes, he was married 4 times. Yes, the woman says, her voice shaking. He had 3 stepsons. He gave them his last name. Yes, my mother was his first wife. Yes, he had 2 sisters. One of them died as a child. Yes, he traveled to Paris often. Yes, he sailed on large ships. Yes, he had a favorite restaurant in Chinatown. Yes, he loved sunbathing. He was always sunburned. Yes, he had a very large collection of sunglasses. She can't hold back her tears anymore. Then she adds one more detail, almost as an afterthought. My father loved orange soda, she says. The brand was Truaid. Tucker writes it down immediately. Then he turns to Cindy. Has Ryan ever mentioned orange soda? Cindy freezes. Yes, she says. He keeps asking for Truaid, but I've never heard of it. That brand hasn't been made for about 50 years. Tucker feels chills run through him. When his systematic investigation is complete, the result is astonishing. 55 separate details Ryan shared about his past life have been verified. And these aren't vague statements, they're specific, deeply personal facts, things a child could not possibly learn through normal means. Here are some of them. Address. Ryan said, the street name had the word rock in it. Reality. Marty Martyn lived at 825 North Roxbury Drive in Beverly Hills. Age. Ryan, I died at 61. Official records said 59, but Tucker digs deeper and discovers an error on the death certificate. Marty's birth year was 1905, not 1903. Conclusion, Marty died at 61. Ryan was right. Broadway. Ryan, I tap danced on Broadway. Reality, Marty Kalinsky was a professional tap dancer on Broadway in the 1920s. The agency. Ryan, at my agency, we changed people's names. Reality. Marty's talent agency regularly changed clients' stage names. Marriage. Ryan, I was married 5 times. Tucker says 4. Ryan insists no, 5. Further research reveals an early marriage that never made it into official records. Once again, Ryan was right. Children. Ryan, I had 3 adopted sons. I gave them my last name. Reality. Marty had stepsons and legally gave them the Martyn surname. Cause of death. In his nightmares, Ryan always screamed the same words. My heart exploded. The facts are clear. Marty died in 1964 after suffering a brain hemorrhage. He was hospitalized for leukemia at the time. Shortly before his death, his heart stopped. Cars. Ryan, I drove a green car. My wife had a beautiful black one. Reality. Marty and his last wife owned a custom-made Rolls-Royce. His wife didn't drive it herself, but they had a chauffeur-driven black car. Swimming pool. I had a big swimming pool. Marty's Beverly Hills home had a large pool. Rita Hayworth. I met Rita Hayworth. Reality. Marty had connections with many Hollywood stars. His daughter confirms that it's very likely her father knew Rita Hayworth. And beyond these, 45 more details, each one examined, each one confirmed. When Dr. Tucker presented his findings to the academic community, the reaction was mixed. Skeptics immediately searched for alternative explanations. Theory 1. The child learned this information through normal means. Impossible. Marty Martyn was an obscure figure. There was virtually no information about him online. He wasn't mentioned in books. The details existed only in archives a child could never access. Theory 2. The family taught the child these facts. Impossible. Cindy and Kevin had never heard of Marty Martyn before Ryan began speaking. Even when Tucker arrived, the identity had not yet been established. Theory 3. Random guesses. Impossible. 55 highly specific details, all correct. Statistically, the odds are astronomically low. Theory 4. Telepathy or ESP. Theoretically possible, but unlikely. Ryan's emotional attachment, recurring nightmares, and deep longing align far more with memory than with telepathic transfer. Dr. Tucker published his conclusions in a New York Times best-selling book, Return to Life. His conclusion was direct. The most logical scientific explanation is simple and unsettling. Ryan is remembering memories from another life. Did Harvard University accept these findings? No. But did they disprove them? Also no. Harvard Bookstore sells Dr. Tucker's book, yet mainstream psychology departments remain silent. Because reincarnation challenges the very foundations of Western science, it confronts materialist assumptions and destabilizes the equation consciousness equals brain. The University of Virginia, however, takes a different stance. The Division of Perceptual Studies has been researching this phenomenon for nearly 60 years. Deepak Chopra, Dr. Ian's. Some experts describe Tucker's research as the most convincing scientific evidence to date that consciousness continues after death. Medical doctor and author Dr. Larry Dossey puts it simply, a solid case for reincarnation. Michael Murphy, founder of the Esalen Institute, adds, "It honestly surprises me that this work isn't more widely known. The implications for how we see the world are enormous." According to Jeffrey Kleepal of Rice University, the meaning goes even deeper. These cases don't just support reincarnation, they serve as deeply moving reminders that many of us don't fully fit into the cultural and religious worlds we're born into. The year is 2025. Ryan Hammons is now 20 years old. He's a college student in Oklahoma. And the memories of a past life? almost completely gone. Just as Dr. Tucker observed in other cases, Ryan's memories began to fade around the age of 7 or 8. Today, Ryan doesn't remember Marty Martyn. He doesn't remember the pool. He doesn't remember Rita Hayworth. But not everything disappeared. Some traces remain, subtle echoes. He still loves 1940s big band music, unlike most people his age. He still prefers classic films. Modern movies feel off to him, somehow wrong. And then there's something even stranger. Despite being raised in a Protestant Christian household, Ryan feels drawn to learning more about Judaism. This curiosity has created some tension within his family. Marty Martyn was Jewish, the son of Ukrainian Jewish immigrants. Ryan doesn't consciously know this, but in some quiet, unexplainable way, he feels pulled toward it. When Dr. Tucker and his team analyzed more than 2,500 cases collected over 60 years, several striking patterns emerged. Pattern 1. Age. Children typically begin speaking about past lives between ages 2 and 4, average 35 months. Memories usually fade after ages 7 or 8. Pattern 2. Traumatic death. In about 70% of cases, the previous person died suddenly or violently. This mirrors general mortality statistics. Pattern 3. Time gap. The average time between the previous death and the new birth is about 16 months. Pattern 4. Birthmarks. Some children have birthmarks or physical traits that correspond to wounds from the past life. Pattern 5. Cultural independence. More cases are reported in cultures that believe in reincarnation. However, there is no correlation between belief and the strength of the cases. Pattern 6. Verification. In the strongest cases, one rule always applies. All statements are recorded before the previous identity is discovered. The Ryan case fits all 6 criteria perfectly. In his book, Dr. Tucker includes a bold chapter. Can quantum physics explain reincarnation? He begins with a famous quote from Max Planck, the father of quantum mechanics. Consciousness is fundamental. Matter is derived from it. We cannot speak about matter without consciousness. Everything we talk about presupposes consciousness. Tucker summarizes his argument like this. Quantum physics suggests that the physical world may arise from consciousness. Consciousness may exist independently of the brain. Consciousness may continue after death. In some cases, that consciousness may attach to a new body. Is this speculative? Yes. But are the alternatives any less speculative? Are Ryan's 55 verified details really just coincidence? And Ryan isn't alone. Some of Dr. Tucker's strongest cases include James Leininger, WW2 pilot. At age 2, he says, "My plane was shot down. It took off from Iwo Jima." 21 details are verified. He accurately identifies the pilot. Gus Taylor, "I am my grandfather reincarnated," he says. He shares private family details no one else knew. Cameron Macaulay, a child in Scotland who describes the island of Barra, a place he has never visited. He accurately describes the house, its location, and its surroundings. The year is 2026. The University of Virginia is still collecting cases. Harvard, silent. MIT, silent. Stanford, silent. Mainstream science chooses the most comfortable hypothesis. Ignore it. But some scientists are brave enough to ask, what if there really is something here? Dr. Tucker has retired, but the research continues. New investigators step in. New cases emerge. Because stories like Ryan Hammons appear every year, all over the world, across every culture. And only one question remains. Is reincarnation real? Science doesn't say proven, but it also doesn't say disproven. And perhaps that leads to an even more important truth. There is so much we don't understand about consciousness, and so much we don't understand about death. And maybe death isn't the final ending we think it is. Ryan Hammons' story suggests exactly that, with 55 verified details. Yes, this story is 100% real. It is based on Dr. Jim Tucker's research, published academic sources, and media interviews. Ryan Hammons is a real person. Marty Martyn was a real person. And those 55 details were truly verified. And to this day, no one has been able to explain it.